المحاضرة واسأل. Today we have chapter number 4, Phonology. Okay, you are familiar with this chapter, with the terms in this chapter, with phonology, phoneme, and these details. All of us know that phonology is different from phonetics. Phonetics, we said that it is the study of human speech sounds, but phonology studies what? The system of these sounds, the system and patterns, the system and patterns of speech sounds, okay, in a language, in general, in any language. So it's based on a theory of what this is the meaning of phonology, that it is based on a theory of what every speaker of language unconsciously knows about the sound patterns of that language. Because of this theoretical status, phonology is concerned with the abstract. You see, this is another definition for phonology, is what? With the abstract or mental aspect of sounds. So it's something abstract, not something concrete, something abstract. Phonology is something related to mind, okay, rather than the actual physical articulation of speech sounds, which is phonetics. Okay, so as if here we have the difference between phonetics and phonology, that phonology is concerned with the abstract mental aspects of sounds in language, while phonetics with the actual physical articulation of speech sounds. Here we have explanation about phonology. Okay, and we have, for example, the blueprint of each sound type. You see here, it is related to sounds. What is in your mind that te, if we put te, what we put after te? You see here, when we think of the te sound in the word star, writer, and eighth as being the same, we actually mean that in the phonology of English, they would be represented in the same way. In the actual use, te sounds are all very different. Still, we have here explanation about the difference between sounds. Of course, you know the difference between sounds when we talk about them in terms of phonetics and in terms of phonology. You see this point that from point of view which is related, I mean, to phonology, we see that phonology is concerned with the abstract set of sounds in language, okay, that allows us to distinguish meaning. Of course, when we come to phonology, when we change a letter, okay, when we change sound from another sound, we will have what? Meaning will be changed. Distinguish meaning. See, the meaning will be changed. Here we have phonemes. Who can tell me about phonemes? What is phoneme? Because it's very easy. Yes, what is phoneme?
Yes. Yes.
Raise your hand, please. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yes, Wissam.
Yes. Phoneme is the similest meaningful until it is meaningful until because if we change one letter from a word to another letter, we will have different meaning. Another word. It is in abstract until in the mind.
Good.
If we change the th sound for the word fat, and we put the instead of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we will have what? the result is that we have different words. So this is phoneme, okay? And you know that we have phone, which is related to phonetics, phone, and we have phoneme, which is related to phonology. When we change one phoneme, we will have different words, of course. For example, we have tree and tree. When we change from te to the, of course, these two words are different, and we will talk about them in some details. We have here explanation about their manner of articulation, place of articulation, and how they are phonologically distributed. You see here, for example, fe has the features, voice, labidental, fricative, so cannot be in the same natural class of sounds pe and ke. Of course, they are different. Here we have phones and Elephones. We have phones and what? Elephones. Yes, who can tell me the difference? What is Elephones? Yes, Shahla.
Yes, sir. Phone basically produces speech sound, representing one version of a phoneme. All form of a closely related of set of speech sound or phonemes.
Yes, very good. So this is Asafia phones are phonetic units and appear in square brackets as a pronunciation, one by one sounds. When we have a set of phones, this is the definition of allophones. When we have a set of phones, all of which are versions of one phoneme, all of them are versions of one phoneme. Okay, we had allo, it means a lot, more than one. One of closely related set, it means set, group. So this is what we mean by allophones. Allophones. For example, here, the T sound in the word ta is pronounced with a stronger puff of air than is present in the T sound in the word sta. Okay? Here, you remember aspiration and aspiration. You remember this, you have studied aspiration and then aspiration. And when we say that aspiration, T, P, K, we have aspiration, which means we have short stop after P, T, K. Okay? But in the middle, for example, star, it is unaspirated. It is not aspiration. So the same phone has more than one version. So this is what we call it. We call it as Elephone. This is aspiration definition. What is the definition of aspiration? The puff of air in combining the T sound at the beginning of ta, but not in sta. You see? So this aspirated version is represented more precisely as T, H. This H above high H, K sound. See here? This is what? This means that this T is aspirated. We have aspiration. Usually when we go to dictionaries, in dictionaries, we don't find that after T we have this. Okay? We don't have, just when we want to study something, when we have a book which is related to phonetics or linguistics, we have this symbol to represent that this sound is aspirated. In previous chapter here, we have what? Sound T between vowels in a way like writer, okay, which becomes a flop. So T, sometimes T is aspirated. I don't understand. What is Elephone? Sorry. Elephone, the same sound, the same phone, more versions. How? For example, T at the beginning of word, for example, try. It is aspirated. Try. Try. Stray, for example, stray, star start second T here, it is not aspirated. So we have number one, aspirated. Number two, word star, not aspirated. And the word right, okay, remember that if T between vowels, sometimes we have flapping. Usually some speakers, they tend to flap. So they don't say J, they say J, rider, rider, or rider, or rider. You see? So we have three here. 3 Elephones for the same phone. Okay, the same explanation here. Here, the difference between phonemes, and allophones. Between phonemes and allophones is that substituting, changing. If we change one phoneme, of course, if we change one phoneme, we will have different word. We will have different word. Okay? But allomorph, no. But here, substituting allophones only result in a different pronunciation. Only different pronunciation. Only we say try, but stop. We don't have aspiration. Rider. We mean writer here. Rider. Okay? No change. Only change in the way of pronouncing this word. But phoneme, no. When we change, for example, T to V. For example, fat and van. Van, for example. Okay? Van and fan. Van and fan. Van and fan. When we change F to V, we will have different words. We have minimal pairs and sets. Minimal pairs and sets. Yes, you can define minimal pairs and sets. Yes, minimal pairs and minimal sets. Minimal pairs and minimal sets. Yes, زينب صح.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
The minimal pair when two words such as a bath and bed are identical in form, except for contrast in one phoneme occurring in the same position. The two words are described a minimal pair. A minimal set when a group of words can be differentiated, each one from others, by changing one phoneme, always in the same position. Then we have minimal set.
Good.
Those,
okay. Yes.
Those minimal sets is based on the vowel phonemes of English, would include fat, fit, f, and when based on consonant could have big, peg, ring, dog, wing. Yes.
Good. Thank you so much. So here when two words such as pat and bat, so when we change p to b, we will have two different words. They are identical in form. They are similar. Only one phoneme. That's why phoneme is what is when we is distinctive. We say that this is specific word. We say that phoneme is distinctive. Phoneme is distinctive. How it is distinctive? It is distinctive in the sense that if we change one phoneme, we will have different words. For example, bat and pat, pat and bat. So these are identical, only change in one phoneme. So this is minimal pair. Minimal pair. Definition of minimal pair. And we have minimal set, as your classmate said, that we have here, for example, certain words, more than one word, changing one phoneme, is set group. You see here, feet, fit, fat, fate, fought, foot, all of them are the same. Only we have change in vowel. You see, only change in the middle. So these are what? These are minimal set. Or for example, big, kick, rick, thick, dick, wick. So we have change in what? In consonant here. You see, this is what we mean by minimal set. Then we have phonotactics. Phonotactics. What is phonotactics? Who can tell me what is phonotactics? We have phonotactics, and we say phonotactic rules. What are the phonotactic rules? Okay, I will explain it. This type of exercise involving minimal sets also allows us to see that there are definite patterns in the types of sound combinations attempted in language. In English, the minimal set we have just listed does not include forms such as lig or fig. So in English, you know, we have words, we have dictionary. Okay, we have dictionary. Let me bring this dictionary. We have dictionary. This dictionary, for example. Okay, we have dictionary. We have just explained this minimal set. We said that we have pig, rig, okay, but we don't have words such as lig or vig. Lig or vig. Why we don't have such words? Like if we were to check dictionary, we would not find such kind of words, lig or fig. They are excluded. You see, according to the dictionary, these are not English words. Okay, according to because they are similar to certain words, but they are not within the dictionary. That is our phonological knowledge of the pattern of sounds in English words would allow us to treat these forms as acceptable. Okay, as if we said that phonology is something related to mind. Phonology is something related to our mentality. Okay, it is a mental aspect. It is related to mind. So when we see a word like big, okay, when we say a word like rig, we accept them, we know them. And also when we see words like lig and vig, as if our mind tells us that these are acceptable, but they are not in dictionary. This is what is meant here. Our phonological knowledge of the pattern of sounds in English words would allow us to treat these forms as acceptable if at some future time they came into use. Maybe in future, maybe we'll part of dictionary, but they are not dictionary words. They don't have any place in dictionary. Okay. Then they represent accidental gaps in the vocabulary of English. That's why sometimes they call them as accidental gaps. يعني شيء عرضي. Accidental gaps in the vocabulary of English. خلينا نشوف بعد أكثر more. It is, however, no accident that forms such as fishing, you see, running, because difficult because don't have such words, do not exist or are unlikely ever to exist. They have been formed without obeying some constraints on the sequence or position of English phonemes. This is what we mean by phonotactics. These words, for example, these words, fishing or running, do not exist. They have been formed without obeying, without following some rules, some constraints on the sequence or position of English phonemes. You know that you have studied phonology in details. That when we have onset, we have coda, we have vowel. A word has a vowel preceded by consonant or followed by consonant. CV, VC, CVC, CCV, okay, CCV, CC, etc. So, without obeying, these words are formed without obeying some constraints on the sequence or position of English phonemes. Such constraints are called phonotactics. Permitted arrangements of sounds in a language and are obviously part of every speaker's phonological knowledge. Okay? Because these constraints operate on a unit that's larger than the single segment of phoneme, we have to move on to the consideration of the basic structure of that larger phonological unit called the syllable. So this is phonotactics, phonotactic rules. Okay? That there are some words that are formed. These words are formed. These words have no dictionary place. Okay, and we don't know why they have no place in dictionary. You know that language, how language is formed, because these words are similar to some words that aren't found in dictionary, but these words are not in dictionary, so they are formed. They are formed without paying, without following some constraints on the sequence or position of English phonemes. That's why they call them as phonotactics or phonotactic rules, which is permitted arrangements of sounds in a language and are obviously part of every speaker's phonological knowledge. This is the definition of phonotactics. We have syllable. Okay, I've just mentioned syllable. Syllable, you know that syllable must contain a vowel or vowel-like sound, including diphthongs, CV, you see here. And with syllable, we have onset, okay, consonants, we have rhyme, nucleus, vowel, coda, consonants. You see, you are familiar with this. You have studied this with phonetics. We have here open syllables and closed syllables. Syllables like me, to, or no have an onset and a nucleus, but no coda. They are known open syllables. When a coda is present and the syllables up, cup, at, or hat, they are called closed syllables. You see, these are the different types of syllables. For example, here CC, VC, VCC, VCC. You see that V refers to what vowel, and C represents consonant. I think it's easy here. V, okay, I, it means only V, means A, V, and C, consonant, me. What's important in just definitions and examples, of course. We have consonant clusters. Yes, what does it mean, consonant clusters? Who can tell me? What is consonant cluster? Yes, Mace. Mace.
Consonant cluster.
Yes.
It is sound in a row. This example of consonant cluster, all in plaque or CK in desk, and
Yeah.
PT and PT it at the end of help it.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, فرح عبد راضي.
Yes.
Yes, فرح. What is consonant cluster? You raise your hand, right? Yeah.
Yes. Both the consonant and the coda can consist of more than one consonant, also known as a consonant cluster. The
شنو كذا؟
competition
كلاستر أخو كاستر أخو كاستر.
yes
Yes.
cluster. The combination set is a consonant cluster used as a consonant is the word stop.
Yeah, thank you so
And
much. Yes, Nahla.
Yes, sir. It's meeting of two successive consonants in one or two words. It's difficult to transition from the first consonant to the next consonant. Therefore, it's required that there be a sound interval between them, or to delete the first consonant in a specific case.
this will done accidentally wickbite.
Yes. So symbolic, when we say consonant cluster, it means we have combination of consonant sounds. Combination of consonant sounds, they are together. Sometimes we have consonant cluster at the beginning of a word, sometimes at the end of word. Okay, sometimes if we have two words at the end of a word and the beginning of other word, we have 4, 5, maybe more than 5 consonant clusters that come together. It is very important when you pronounce consonant cluster, you should pronounce them as one. You should not stop between these sounds. You should not make intervals فاصل يعني. Okay, you should pronounce them as one word. You should not stop. You should not make any interval between them. It is very important. Try to avoid inserting something or stopping between these sounds. For example, we say dogs. We have geze, dogs. Mu dogis, we have here vowel. If you say dogis, human rights. مرة طالب قال استاذ يمتى تجينا بالهيومن رايت تجي استاذ بالهيومن رايتس رايتي رايتي رايتس تس no رايتس no rice okay T and C the same place of articulation but T are the plosive سي فريكشن في اول ما كانما اثنيناتهم نسويها تطلعهم اوكي مسجز دوجز wax don't insert don't stop don't make any interval between consonant sounds. This is very important. Try to avoid inserting vowel or make interval or you stop between consonant sounds. You have to pronounce them as one word. So sometimes when someone says word this words depends more depends depends, and this way you have to pronounce these words. We have co-articulation effects. You know, it is very important. It's very important in language, in daily life. When we come to language, when we want to study language, or when we are in our life, daily life, how to deal with language. There is a problem that some learners of English language are confused. Sometimes they say that we don't understand others. Sometimes they are confused about accent. The accent or dialect, what kind of accent they want to use, how can they speak their accent. So they are confused. Sometimes they don't understand what others say. So the students or learners start ask. This is in daily life, how they are speaking, how those people are speaking language. I, for example, speak English language, but I don't understand them. Why I don't understand them? Is there a problem with me or with them? Sometimes these words, when they are written, I can understand them, but when spoken, I can't understand them. Where is the problem at? What is the problem? Who can tell me what is the problem before I explain it? Yes, who can tell me? Raise your hand or lower your hand. There are
Repeat your
three.
question, sir.
Raise your hand, please.
Repeat
I'll
your
repeat one.
question, please.
How can I repeat it? I just explained the point here. I just explain it. There's not a question. It is rather explain the point that I can't repeat the whole point. Okay, so who can tell me just your point of view? If one listens well to me, you can tell me what is the problem here. Yes, Inas, you want to answer?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, yes, you can tell me. Mace, Nada. No one can tell me? Okay. This is due to the fact, this is because that in daily life, in our daily life, I mean, even in Arabic language, not only in English, people tend to use normal speech, everyday speech, tend to delete, omit certain sounds, tend to change the sounds of certain words, and also do not follow the rules, whether grammatical rules or even pronunciation rules. So sometimes we see them change certain words, the pronunciation of certain words when they speak, their accent is different. That's why we as learners, when we want to listen to someone who is speaking in the street, we will not understand him. It is very difficult. It is hardly to understand him. We will make much more effort to understand what he or she is saying. Okay, so we will face a problem. We will have a problem trying to understand what others say. Some words we will not understand. This is because, as I told you, in daily life, they tend to delete, to omit, to change the pronunciation of certain words. And we talked about this point. We talked about flapping, like for example, flapping. When we have flapping, also when we have elision, when we have assimilation, all these points with co-articulations, assimilation, elision. Here we have the terms. Why certain sounds are omitted? Why certain sounds are changed? So this is what we mean by what assimilation and what and elision. So that's why we don't understand them, because they delete, they omit, they change certain sounds when communicating between each other. But when we see the words written, we still understand them. But when it's spoken, they are different. Here we have co-articulation. Okay, with assimilation. What is assimilation? This is the definition of assimilation: when two sounds segment occur in sequence and some aspect of one segment is taken or covered by the other. We have assimilation. We have assimilation, especially when we have neighboring consonant sounds. You see here why it is happened. Why maybe one of you asks me why they use assimilation, why they use elision. Because it's everyday language, okay? Rapid language, quick language. It is quick, easier. You see here, it is quicker, easier, more efficient for our articulators. Our articulators, it means human speech or organs. This is articulators. Sometimes it is difficult for us, difficult for our articulators to pronounce all the words, to pronounce all the vowels, all the sounds. So we tend to what? To change, to delete, to omit. Okay? You see here, this is one of the reasons. For example, have. We say have. Have to. For example, have to. When they say, I have to go, I have to go. They don't say, I have to go. They say, have to go. I have to go. You see, it is easy for our organs. It is quick. And instead of saying, I have to go, I have to go. I have to go. I have to go. I want to drink. I wanna. I wanna. I wanna. I want to drink. I wanna. Here we have a lot of words. For example, I can go. I can go. You see, you can read these examples. You see here, I can go. I can go. I can go. See? Just read these examples. Aunt. Sometimes we don't say aunt. They don't say aunt. شوف هسه word. This is pronunciation. You and me. You and me. صعبة. Difficult. ما أقدر أقول you and me. You and me. You and me. See? That's why, as I said, sometimes we don't understand them when they speak in daily life. When I say you and me, go. You and me. You and me. You and me. What is he saying? You and me. It means you and me. They don't say you and me. You and me. Okay? This way. Let me explain, show you a video about assimilation.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
You can see now, right? You can see this.
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm Tim, and this is my pronunciation workshop. Here, I'm going to show you how English is really spoken. Come on, let's go inside. Now, these days, when you go to a real shop, do you prefer to pay by cash or by plastic? What do we call one of these? Now, I'm sure you already know, but let's hear what the people of London call it.
It's a credit card.
Credit card, credit card, credit card.
Credit card. A credit card. Now, the word credit ends in the sound t, doesn't it? Or does it? Watch and listen again. What sound can you actually hear?
It's a credit card.
Credit card, credit card, credit card.
Credit card. In fluent speech, when one word ends in a vowel sound followed by a t, and the next word begins with a k sound, the t changes to a k. So credit card becomes credit card. It's an example of assimilation. And here are some more examples. Don't let it get cold.
You have to do it quickly.
There's no shortcut to learning a language.
I didn't like that cake. Right, so you've heard the examples, and now it's your turn. You know the drill. Listen and repeat. Don't let it get cold.
You have to do it quickly.
There's no shortcut to learning a language.
I didn't like that cake. Well done. Now remember, if you want to learn more about pronunciation, then please visit our website, bbclearningenglish.com. And that is about it from the pronunciation workshop for this week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
You see here? This is assimilation, especially when we have two words, neighboring. Okay, the end of the first word and the beginning of second word, we tend to change. Like when you see the credit card, K to K, from T to K, credit card, okay? Get call. You see here? Change. We can see more and more examples about the changes. If you can read more and more about assimilation, what are the changes? Okay, as he said that it is in fluent English language, in daily life. Okay, when people speak English, when they communicate with each other, they tend to what? To change. They tend to change certain words. They tend to change, the pronunciation of certain words, or they tend to delete or omit. We will see this with elision. With elision, elision means that what? Certain sounds. Yes. Who wants to? Yes, Shahid.
Yes, the elegant, the process of leaving out a sound segment in the pronunciation of words.
Yes. So elegant this when we have certain sounds are dropped. Okay, dropping certain sounds. When sometimes when spoken. For example, friendship. You see, friendship. We don't have friend, not a friend. More friendship. Friendship. You see, every. Interest. Cabinet. Camera. Prisoner. Suppose. See? Not suppose, sometimes suppose. So certain words are what? Are certain sounds are dropped to be more accurate. Okay. You see aspects. Not it is better for you don't say aspects. We have KTC difficult for your articulators. So saying instead aspects. And instead of saying aspects, difficult. Why? Because you have K, stop, T, stop. C is a friction. You have K, vela, T, alveolar, and C, alveolar. So it's difficult. It's better to say KC, aspects. Better than aspects. You see, he must be. See, he must be out. Instead of saying he must be out. This is normal speech. I just talked about it. Normal speech. Okay, these two processes of assimilation and elision occur in everyone's normal speech and should not be regarded as some type of slowness or laziness in speaking. It is not laziness in speaking. It's something okay that's happening in everyday life. We should not consider it as a slowness or laziness in speaking. It is normal to speak it, especially in your daily life. No problem. Moreover than this, that if you avoid the regular parties of assimilation and elision used in a language would result in extremely artificial sound talk. If we find someone who is always speaking, like the one who tries to avoid assimilation. Maybe someone says, I don't use assimilation, I don't use elision, I don't use anything of that kind. Your language will sound like artificial sound talk. Artificial. Okay? Will sound artificial. Okay? Artificial sound talk. So your language should have elision, assimilation, something good to use these processes. Very important. And I advise you to go to the internet, YouTube, and listen more and more about assimilation, about elisions, about different processes of phonology. Yes, I think we finished with this chapter. It's very easy. Yeah, we have exercises. You can read them, questions, what is aspirated and unaspirated, what is the difference between phoneme and allophone, what is meant by phonotactics of language, what is the difference between open and closed. Yes, that's enough. Do you have any question, please? If you have any question, you can ask me.